Wednesday Addams is not a monster or a villain, but people call her that anyway. So why does everyone react to her as if they sense something she isn't telling us? Every version of Wednesday Addams carries the same stare, the same stillness, the same unsettling certainty. And maybe it's time to finally ask the question we were never supposed to ask. What does Wednesday Addams know that the rest of us don't? Before she ever spoke a line on television, before Christina Ricci sharpened her into an icon, before Jenna Ortega carried her into a new century, Wednesday Addams existed only as a drawing. She appeared first in Charles Addams' New Yorker cartoons in 1938, a pale, solemn little girl with braids and a stare that could cut through wallpaper. Back then, she had no name because none of the Addamses did. They were simply the strange family in the margins of the magazine, a gothic mirror held up to cheerful American life. It wasn't until the 1964 television series that Charles Addams finally named her, and he chose a name taken straight from an old English nursery rhyme from the line, "Wednesday's child is full of woe." That was her essence captured in a single line. Later, Addams Family guides and tie-in materials added an even darker touch, calling her Wednesday Friday Addams, and some versions claim she was born on Friday the 13th, details never confirmed in the original show, but ones that lingered in the character's evolving mythology. In every era of the Addams family, Wednesday Addams steps into the world with the same unblinking calm, a girl dressed in black, staring straight through the facades everyone else mistakes for truth. She doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't rush. She doesn't fear. And because of that, the world assumes she must belong to something darker than childhood. But Wednesday has never changed. Across the 1960s TV series, the animated films, and the live-action movies of the 1990s, Christina Ricci solidified her as the deadpan prodigy of morbidity. Not cruel, simply honest in ways that unsettle ordinary families. Her lines cut through scenes like scalpels, precise, clinical, amused by the grim realities that most people pretend don't exist. And decades later, Jenna Ortega's Wednesday and Wednesday carries that same stillness, the same razor-dry humor, the same chilling clarity about how life and death actually work. Her version adds layers that have always been there, but never explored. An eye for patterns, an instinct for danger, and a perceptiveness so sharp it edges into the supernatural. Yet even with new depth, she remains unmistakably Wednesday. Different actresses, different generations. But the girl, always the same. What is it about Wednesday Addams that allows her to move through the living as if she's studying them from the outside? Because if she is not a monster, not a witch, not a villain, then what is she? Wednesday has always been mistaken for morbid, but what if the truth is far stranger? What if she isn't drawn to darkness? What if she sees it before it arrives? For the first time in Addams Family history, Wednesday makes this literal. The series reveals that Wednesday is a psychic, a gift or curse inherited through Morticia's side of the family. When Wednesday touches objects connected to trauma or danger, she's pulled into violent visions, fractured images, future threats, memories not her own. Morticia confirms it plainly. Visions run in the Addams bloodline. But Wednesdays are different. Morticia's visions in the series were soft, symbolic, almost dreamlike glimpses she could interpret and control. Wednesdays, by contrast, strike like a blow. Each vision arrives with physical force, knocking her off balance, leaving her gasping as if the past and future are colliding inside her all at once. Where Morticia drifted gently through psychic impressions, Wednesday is dragged through them, and it suggests something deeper. Her power isn't awakening, it's escalating. But even before the Netflix series canonized Wednesday as a psychic, the seeds were always there. In Charles Addams' original cartoons, Wednesday is drawn as a child who moves with eerie calm, often anticipating misfortune before it happens. In the 1991 and 1993 films, Christina Ricci plays her with a stillness that feels almost premonitory. She answers questions before people finish asking them, appears in doorways right as someone speaks her name, and responds to danger with the serenity of someone who's already seen the outcome. Even in the 1964 series, young Wednesday wanders into scenes at uncanny moments, revealing truths adults have missed, pointing out threats others overlook. It's not supernatural in those early versions, but the pattern is unmistakable. Wednesday doesn't react to chaos. She arrives already understanding it. It's as though she recognizes the shape of events before they unfold, like someone rereading a story they've experienced before. Her timing is too perfect, her awareness too sharp, her calm too complete. Which brings us to the unsettling possibility. What if Wednesday isn't predicting anything? What if she's remembering? A vision, after all, is just a memory from a different angle, past or future. It's still something seen. And Wednesday Addams, across decades and adaptations, behaves like a girl who carries more than her own lifetime inside her. A girl who has always walked one step ahead of the rest of the world because she already knows how the darkness moves. She is prophetic, a seer shaped by bloodline, sharpened by pain, and haunted by knowledge she never asked to inherit. If Wednesday is a seer, then it didn't begin with her. The Addams family has always carried a strange kind of gravity, a pull toward the macabre, the mystical, the things most families run from. And across every adaptation, their history reads less like a genealogy and more like a lineage touched by something ancient. Start with Morticia. Across comics, films, and series, Morticia Addams is consistently portrayed with the grace and certainty of a witch. Her abilities aren't explicitly labeled magic, but everything about her evokes it. Her control over plants, her effortless calm around danger, her intuitive knowledge of death and mourning. In Wednesday, this subtext becomes text when it's revealed that Morticia herself is a psychic, one who inherited a gentler form of the same visions now tormenting her daughter. Morticia speaks of the ability as something passed down the bloodline, a talent that feels less like a blessing and more like an obligation. Then there is Gomez. Across adaptations, Gomez Addams is repeatedly tied to duels, oaths, and ancestral honor stories. In the 1990s films, he reminisces about the old country, where disputes were settled with blades and bloodlines carried reputations like shadows. Even in the 1964 series, the Addams ancestors are described as a proud lineage, passionate, dramatic, and not entirely bound to the laws of the living. Their portraits stare down from the walls like sentinels, each one charged with its own story of exile, danger, or defiance. Put their histories together, and a pattern emerges. The Addamses have never been ordinary. They have never blended into the world around them. They have always stood apart as outcasts, duelists, mystics, And, in Wednesday's case, a seer whose power burns brighter than any who came before her. But here's the unsettling truth. In Wednesday, when Morticia tries to explain the psychic gift, she does so carefully, delicately, like someone talking around a wound, not describing a wonder. And Wednesday clearly inherited not Morticia's serenity, but something harsher. Her visions don't guide her. They don't offer answers. They demand them. Which leads to a theory not stated outright in any adaptation, but rising naturally from everything we see. Wednesday's visions aren't a gift. They're a burden, a family legacy heavy enough that no one in the Addams household speaks of it plainly. A kind of generational memory passed down like an heirloom no one asked for. Because when Wednesday's visions hit, they don't feel like glimpses of something new, like memories, like repetitions of a story lived many times before. A story the Addams ancestors may have carried, long before Wednesday learned to open her eyes. And that brings us to the possibility at the heart of her curse. Wednesday isn't seeing the future. She's carrying the ghosts of every Addams who came before her. In folklore, ravens have always meant more than wings and shadow. They are omens, watchers perched at the edge of the known world, symbols of rebirth, prophecy, and the thin line between the living and the dead. And in Wednesday, that symbolism becomes literal. When Wednesday's psychic abilities begin spiraling out of control, Principal Weems and Morticia explain that there are two psychic archetypes in Addams' lore: doves and ravens. Doves see visions of joy and clarity. Ravens see visions of chaos and death. Morticia was a dove. Wednesday is a raven. It's the first time the Addams universe gives her a classification, and it fits so precisely that it feels less like a diagnosis and more like a destiny. Because Wednesday has always moved like a raven in human form, quiet, watchful, attracted to graveyards and forgotten corners. A creature who studies the world with a strange intelligence, perched just outside the warmth of ordinary life. In mythology, ravens aren't merely observers. They are keepers of memory, messengers between worlds, guardians of forgotten truths, and heralds of fate. They do not choose their visions. They endure them. And that is Wednesday's fate, exactly. She treats danger not as threat, but as information. She narrates the world with the clarity of someone who understands both the living and the dead. In every adaptation, she slips easily between innocence and shadow, humor and prophecy, childhood and something far older. The raven archetype crystallizes that. It reveals what's always been there. Wednesday isn't simply receiving visions. She's remembering something the rest of the world has forgotten. But the raven form suggests something even more haunting. Wednesday may be the chosen memory keeper of her entire bloodline, the one destined to witness what others cannot, to carry the stories the family will never speak aloud, and to see the darkness that shapes their legacy before it ever arrives at their door. So if Wednesday Addams is not a monster, not a witch, not a villain, then who is she? Her visions tell the truth plainly. Wednesday is the only Addams who carries the past, the present, and the possible future inside her mind at once. She is the one who absorbs what the others ignore, the warnings, the threads connecting every dark moment in her family's history. Morticia may understand the power, but Wednesday feels it. She bears it. She suffers under it. Every vision she endures is a message. Every fracture of time is a memory that does not belong to her alone. And that is where her secret identity emerges. Wednesday Addams is not merely a seer, not merely a raven. She is the archivist of the Addams soul, the living vessel through which the family's story continues to speak. She is the one the ancestors whisper to. She is the one who understands their warnings. She is the one who sees the unseen threads running through generations of blood, grief, devotion, and fate. Other Addamses celebrate the darkness. Wednesday interprets it. Other Addamses revel in the macabre. Wednesday remembers why it matters. In every adaptation, she returns unchanged because her role is unchanged. The raven is not reinvented. It is reborn whenever the Addams family needs a witness, a guide, a keeper of the truth they refuse to bury. Wednesday is the constant, the watcher, the memory. Wednesday doesn't chase darkness. Darkness follows her because it remembers her.